shower. Imagine looking up and seeing meat falling from the sky. That is exactly what happened on March 3rd, 1876, near Olympia Springs, Kentucky. According to multiple witnesses, chunks of fresh meat suddenly began falling over a small area of farmland. Some pieces were only a few centimeters across. Others were nearly the size of a human hand. The strange shower lasted for several minutes, covering the ground with what looked like freshly cut meat. Naturally, people assumed there had to be a normal explanation. Maybe a passing flock of birds had dropped it. Maybe it wasn't meat at all. Scientists later examined several samples. Most agreed that it really was animal tissue. The problem was they couldn't even agree on what animal it came from. Some believed it was horse. Others said deer. The most popular explanation today is that vultures flying overhead simultaneously vomited partially digested meat after being startled. As disgusting as that sounds, vultures really do defend themselves that way. But no one knows if that's what actually happened that day. Nearly 150 years later, the Kentucky meat shower remains one of the strangest weather events ever reported. Miracle of the Sun. On October 13th, 1917, tens of thousands of people gathered in Fatima, Portugal. Many believed they were about to witness a miracle, and according to numerous eyewitnesses, they did. After hours of heavy rain, the clouds suddenly opened. People reported that the sun became dim enough to look at directly. Then they said it started moving. Some described it spinning like a wheel. Others said it changed colors. Many claimed it zigzagged across the sky before appearing to plunge toward the earth. People screamed. Some fell to their knees believing it was the end of the world. But people outside the area reported seeing nothing unusual at all. More than a century later, there is still no single explanation accepted by everyone. Some believe it was a miracle. Others think it was an unusual combination of atmospheric conditions, optical effects, and human perception. Whatever happened that day, tens of thousands of people left believing they had watched the sun dance across the sky. The battle that never happened. In 1517, people in northern Italy claimed they watched an entire battle unfold. There was just one problem. No battle was actually taking place. According to historical accounts, thousands of soldiers appeared outside the town of Verdelho. Witnesses described cavalry charging across the fields, cannons firing, smoke filling the air, and armies fighting for hours. People gathered to watch from a distance. Some even claimed they could hear the weapons. But when the battle finally ended, there were no bodies, no damaged buildings, and no soldiers. The battlefield was completely empty. Over the centuries, people have suggested everything from unusual atmospheric conditions to mass hysteria. Others believed they had witnessed something supernatural. Whatever the explanation, one thing has never changed. Hundreds of years later, nobody has ever proven what those people actually saw that day. The Tunguska event. On the morning of June 30th, 1908, something exploded above Siberia, not on the ground, in the sky. The explosion was so powerful that it flattened around 80 million trees across more than 2,000 square kilometers. People hundreds of kilometers away were thrown off their feet. The shockwave was detected around the world, but when scientists finally reached the site, they found something they weren't expecting. There was no impact crater, no giant meteorite, and no obvious source of the explosion. The trees had fallen outward from a single point, but many directly beneath the blast were still standing, stripped of their branches like giant telephone poles. Today, the leading explanation is that a small asteroid or comet exploded high in Earth's atmosphere before it ever reached the ground. That would explain why the forest was destroyed without leaving behind a crater. More than a century later, Tunguska remains the largest impact event in recorded history that never actually hit the Earth's surface. The Dancing Plague. In July 1518, a woman walked into the streets of Strasbourg and started dancing. She kept dancing for hours. Then she came back the next day, and the day after that. Within a week, dozens of people had joined her. Soon, there were hundreds. According to historical records, they danced for days with little or no rest. Some reportedly collapsed from exhaustion. Others were said to have died from heart attacks, strokes, or sheer fatigue. Instead of stopping them, local authorities believed the only cure was to let them dance until it passed. They even hired musicians and built a wooden stage. age, but it only made things worse. Today, nobody knows exactly what caused the outbreak. Some historians suggest it was a form of mass psychogenic illness. Others have proposed poisoning or neurological disease, but no explanation has ever been proven. More than 500 years later, the dancing plague remains one of the strangest events in recorded history. The wow signal. On August 15, 1977, Earth received a signal from space that should not have existed. It lasted just 72 seconds, then it disappeared forever. The signal was detected by Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope during a search for possible extraterrestrial transmissions. It was far stronger than the normal background noise and appeared to come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. When astronomer Jerry Amon reviewed the data a few days later, one line immediately stood out. He circled it in red and wrote a single word beside it: wow. Scientists pointed telescopes back toward the same region of space again and again, but the signal never returned. Over the years, researchers have proposed dozens of explanations: a comet, radio interference, or a rare natural phenomenon. None has been confirmed. Nearly 50 years later, the wow signal remains one of the most famous unexplained radio signals ever detected. Reality is far stranger than fiction, and we've barely scratched the surface. Subscribe to SidePage, and I'll see you in the next one.